afternoon from Lynda Jayne, broadcasting to you live today from Rathlin Island, Northern Ireland's only inhabited island, and the last island of Ireland to receive a mains electricity supply. And indeed, that's the reason that we're here on the island today. In fact, just about half an hour ago or thereabouts, the European Commissioner for Regional Policies, Mr. Bruce Millen, did the actual ceremony of switching on the mains electricity. We'll be talking to Mr. Millen. We'll be talking also with Mr. Paisley, Mr. Hume, Peter Bottomley. All sorts are here today for this very, very prestigious occasion. As well as all the VIPs who are here, I'll be catching up with some of the islanders and finding out what it's like to live on an island and indeed what the introduction of mains electricity is going to mean. We're going to enjoy ourselves for the next 2 hours. I hope the rest of you listening all over Northern Ireland and not on an island, as we are today, are going to enjoy the programme as well. Coming up now to 20 minutes past 12 midday on this lovely Friday afternoon, broadcasting to you live from Rathlin Island, and I'm with you for the next 2 hours. I'm delighted now to welcome to downtown, and indeed to our listeners all over the province, the European Commissioner for Regional Policies, Bruce Millen, who has had the pleasure, I hope, a little earlier, of actually turning that one big switch that started to work the turbines, which of course brought mains electricity to Rathlin Island for the very first time. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the programme. Now, you've gone round all the control room this morning. You've been up to the turbines. Can I take you back just a little? I mean, you must be an awfully busy man. Where does Rathlin Island fit into the great scheme of things within your job?
Well, we like to think that we don't only deal with the big European issues there in Brussels, but what we're doing in my own area, regional policy, regional fund, money to Northern Ireland, we're getting down to really practical projects. We're doing things on the ground, and this is a very good example of it. It's a very special project, of course, and it has been a great pleasure for me to be here this morning.
Indeed, you were responsible, I would imagine, for channeling some of the money which has helped pay for the whole thing.
Yes, more than half of the money has in fact come from the European community, and without it I don't think the project could have gone ahead. So it's a practical contribution, and it's very good for the island, very good for the islanders.
Have you had a chance to speak with any of the islanders?
I have indeed, and naturally they're very happy at what is happening. I think it's particularly good for the young people. I'm delighted to see so many young people here today. It's a great problem to keep young people on islands. I have some experience in my own country of Scotland on that, and I hope that this will encourage the population here to grow.
You can't see too much of your home country these days. I mean, Brussels, dear knows where. What is your schedule like just at the moment?
Well, I travel around a bit, and not only to Northern Ireland, but I go a lot to the south of the community, the Greeces and Portugals and so on. But I get back to Glasgow occasionally, and in fact I'm going to get back to Glasgow this weekend for the first time for a very long time.
For a long time. Will you be popping into Birmingham at all over the weekend?
No, that's slightly above my head today. I must say I'm much happier to be here in Rathlin than in Birmingham, and I'm not sure what they're going to produce in Birmingham. I hope it's going to be something worthwhile, but we've had something worthwhile here anyway today.
We'll have to wait and see. May I thank you very much for your time. Thanks for being here. And come back and see everyone in Rathlin sometime soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. The European Commissioner for Regional Policies, Bruce Millen, who this morning officially turned on that switch to give Rathlin its first mains electricity ever. Now, we have 3 very famous faces leaping into our seats at the moment, and I am delighted to welcome Peter Bottomley, Dr. Ian Paisley, and John Hume. And indeed, good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome along. I'm delighted to see you all in the one place at the one time. May I start, first of all, with you, Dr. Paisley, because I believe that you were the first MP ever to set foot on this island. Am I right? The first sitting MP.
2 years ago.
22
and,
years.
There was no roads, proper roads on the island. But there was one car owned by the nurse on the island, and the police were chasing her to have it taxed. So I said, how can they tax a car when there's no road? It's supposed to be road tax.
So did she get exemption?
Oh, yes, of course she got exemption.
Excellent.
And, of course, we have some roads now very good, and have some not so good. But we've made a lot of progress in the 22 years.
The harbour, for example, was a great
help.
No,
the harbour and the breakwater wasn't suitable, but that has all been remedied.
No.
And it's a great thing to have to be able to get into the island. What we need now is a corresponding good harbour at Ballycastle. So at the other end, we can have a proper bridge over.
Well, I hope so. I'll come back to you again in a moment, Dr. Paisley. If I could come to you, Mr. Bottomley, next, and I shall ask you, we were talking with you earlier this morning in the Marine Hotel in Ballycastle, and I know that you were in sort of at the beginning of all this.
Not the beginning, as Dr. Paisley said, it's been a long history.
Yes, indeed.
What I've managed to do was to work with some very good civil servants. And we've had this nice praise for Rowan McMillis and for Frank Irvine of Northern Ireland Electricity, to give them the ministerial support. It's reacting to the campaigns which have come from all three members of the European Parliament, because Dr. Paisley, when he was speaking earlier, was saying how essential it was to overcome some of those difficulties. And also, I think, what you might call Northern Ireland's honorary consul in London, Kate Hoey,
yes,
also
I see
added
Kate
to the pressure.
around
today. All of this has been to try to make sure that when children cry in the middle of the night, parents don't have to look for a torch, find the matches, light the candle, fix the generator, and be able to turn a switch on. So I think that it's helping to bring to Northern Ireland's inhabited island, what the Scottish Islands have taken for granted and what people in the south have taken for granted.
Well, I'm delighted, I must say, to see it all happen here today.
Can I add one thing before you move on to one of the other big important people?
Yes, of course.
Which is to give £10 to try to get some more training for this roadie, this Tony Fleck from Fab, who claims he's been carrying your baggage around. And with a bit of training, he'll raise more money for Fab and do you better for downtown.
Peter Bottomley, I am delighted, and I shall be happy to take your £10 back to the Fab office in Belfast. Thank you very much indeed. Maybe we'll get some more money out of some more folks now you've started the ball rolling. Now, to come to our third guest this afternoon, John Hume, MP and MEP. Have you been on the island before? Yes?
Oh, yes, I've been on the island before. I've been
Many
on it.
times?
No, not many times. I've been on it, I think, a couple of times before.
And have you been
as a
you've been
visitor.
Instrumental in the campaign, obviously?
I've been involved, and my office staff have been involved in contact with the island people and in regular contact with Dr. Paisley on this particular issue, and, of course, on the problems of the regeneration of the island. And the first breakthrough was getting into the Valoran program.
Exactly, getting the money, yes.
And I'm delighted to be here today. It's a very historic day for the island. Historic, I think, in many ways because it was the Industrial Revolution that led to the depopulation of island peoples. But we're now going through a technological revolution that is going to decentralize, and islands are going to become important places again for people to live. And I think that today is going to, we're going to see in future generations a return to island peoples, because it will be no longer necessary in the new technological world to live in capital cities, and islands are going to become very important.
A very good point.
And I look forward to see Rathlin people coming back.
Yes, indeed. The population has dwindled so very much. I mean, I believe there's only 123 people actually living on the island at the moment. So it would be nice to see.
Dr. Paisley was saying there's about 100 people altogether living on the island at the moment.
We had 1,000 here at the turn of the century.
Yes, indeed.
But what they need now that they have got the power in is to get some light industry. We need a fish processing plant. We need a small shipbuilding industry. We need crafts and arts, so that for all the year round there will be proper industry. I mean, tourism at the very best would only be for a couple of months.
Yes,
And that is not, and that we could have tourism vandalism, which would destroy this beautiful island. So I can understand the reticence of the islanders.
Yes, indeed. And I suppose then, if we're going to need, as you suggest, some light industry or fish processing or whatever, we're going to need more money from somewhere. So whose door are we going to rattle on next time?
Well, could I say that we should all be very grateful to the Commissioner.
Yes,
the Commissioner accepted our representations very, very favourable.
Yes,
he encouraged us. I never knew a Commissioner that encouraged the three MEPs.
Well, of course, Bruce, coming from where he comes from, has a great commitment to the island people.
Yes,
that's right.
The Highlands and the islands are part of his own.
55%, that is a good grant. We got 55%.
Next time.
And make it all additional. We would be doing very, very well.
I hope
indeed.
you're listening, Peter.
Well, we're waiting to see. But may I thank the three of you so much for taking time to come and join me on this live broadcast this afternoon from the only inhabited island of Northern Ireland to the rest of the province.
Well, thanks to
Peter
the people
Bottomley,
of Rathlin for
John
having us here.
Hume, and Dr. Paisley. Thanks a million. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much
much.
indeed.
Thank you.
Now, these three have to go leaping off to get back into their very fancy helicopter, which we also travelled in this morning, here onto Rathlin Island. And I'm very impressed with Peter Bottomley and his tenor. He did leave the tenor, Florence. I don't see it around. Tony Fleck has it in his hand. And indeed, I should explain a wee bit more about why Tony is here. I'll very briefly do it now because I'm going to be talking with Tony a little bit later on in the programme. But I would like to tell you, first of all, why he's here. Tony Fleck is currently chairman of FAB in Northern Ireland, but former head of the Independent Broadcasting Authority. And today he's here on the island as my roadie. Yes, he wanted to be a groupie, but we told him he was too old. So all his efforts in humping all that broadcasting equipment around are part of his FAB Choose a Challenge, the money from which is to build the first integrational youth centre in Northern Ireland. Now, we'll be talking with Tony a bit later on about that, but I hope the money will keep coming at us. We'll be back in just a little moment with some live music from some of the young folks here on Rathlin Island. And I am now surrounded by some lovely young folks, of whom there aren't actually very many here on the island of Rathlin. And they're going to play for me in just a moment. But first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Father Mateer. Good afternoon. I nearly said good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm very well indeed, thank you.
Well, fight and fit you're looking, as they say. Could you tell me a little about the number of parishioners you have here on the island?
Well, first of all, may I convey the greetings and congratulations of the Bishop of Down and Connor, Dr. Welch, to the people of Rathlin today on the occasion of their receiving the mains for the first time.
Very nice.
He hopes that receiving of the mains and the electricity for Rathlin will advance their general welfare and open up economic possibilities for them.
Well, here's hoping.
And he would also like to thank those responsible for bringing the power to Rathlin Island, to congratulate them and thank them. So, the Bishop's congratulations and thanks to all concerned in this great venture today.
Well, thank you very much indeed, and it's nice to hear that going out all over the province on Downtown Radio. Now, you're not an islander, are you, Father? You weren't born on the island.
Oh no, I was born in southwest Antrim, but my last curacy was in the Mourne country down in Ballymartin near Kilkeel.
And what brought you along to Rathlin?
Well, I had tried to get into Rathlin a few times before, but when the Bishop appointed me to come in here, then I had to get here by hook or by crook.
Well,
Lose no time.
You're going to stay with me because I want to come back to you in just a wee moment, and indeed to the Rathlin Island Youth Accordion Band. That's coming up shortly. Well, we're going to have some more music of the live type in a moment, but I'd just like to go back to Father McAteer. We were talking to you there, and you were told that you were given the orders, you had to come to Rathlin, and you didn't mind at all. You were quite happy. Was it not an awful shock to you, moving from the mainland, not being an islander, moving here to live?
No, I was very eager to come to Rathlin because it's somewhere I never had been before.
Ever?
Never. So I could have been sent places. I would have been meeting people that I'd met